I have a very unusual report to share with you this evening. We just moved 3,000 miles across the country, and I don't have our studio set up yet. But this is a story that I feel I need to get out to you. And many of you know I'm very much into physics and the hard sciences, as well as many of the soft sciences, and up until now have only had a passing interest in more fringe ideas such as UFOs. But tonight I have to share this with you. And while I have no video or photographic images to share with you, I want to explain what happened. It occurred over several nights in a row. Now, because I've had a passing interest in the topic and I've been watching various footage for many years, I know when I see something that moves smoothly and consistently speed across the sky that I'm probably looking at a satellite. What I'm looking for is something that is clearly not photoshopped or otherwise created with computers. And what I look for are changes in direction, unusual flight movements that simply could not be anything else. And in particular, some of them, the balloons, for example, just absolutely give me the giggles. However, what I witnessed and these other people saw was clearly not even a wind-driven phenomenon because of the abrupt takeoffs and halts, and then abrupt takeoff in another direction. So these were not satellites. They were not. It was not the U.S. space station, which I actually did mistake for a UFO initially, and it was set straight by a very pleasant Oregon chapter MUFON member. So let me describe what we saw, and this would have occurred on or about the nights of August 6, 7, 8, maybe 9. Now, my main interest in making this is to try and find if there were anybody else that saw this phenomenon. I'm so particularly interested because it really is not like anything I've seen on any other program or YouTube video. It really was kind of unique in its movements. The fact that it was there for 3 nights in a row. Come on, somebody else had to see this thing. So here's more or less what I saw. So we're at a rest stop. It's just before dawn. And there'd been a bright star planted in the east that I'd been following since we left Portland. So I was looking around for it, trying to get my bearings. So I found what I thought was the star, and I'm just kind of sitting there staring at it, getting my wits about me, getting ready to get back on the road, when suddenly this star moves position. And I mean moves position in a very big and obvious way. I was so stunned by what I saw, I just kept watching it with my jaw hanging down as it would move up kind of to 1 o'clock, stop, then move down, stop, move back up, stop, and so on and so forth. So finally, I just could not believe what I was seeing, so I called my companion over, and sure enough, we both saw what it was doing, and he also pointed out, coming off from the east, 3 other objects that were moving, they looked like 3 stars, just bright points, moving in unison, and they came over and kind of joined this one really bright one that was dancing. I don't know how else to describe it. It almost had it didn't seem to have any real pattern or any objective that I could see. It almost looked organic, like a humming bee or a bee hovering over a flower, deciding what's the best approach to get in there and get good stuff. God, I hope that's not, I didn't mean it that way, but so anyway, as we're watching, one of the 3 that had come over took way off into the west. Now, this, of course, ruled out any possibility of bugs that were actually much closer, but in the lights or anything like that. These objects were way, way up there. So he saw them, I saw them. I went around and had to tell some other truck drivers that were awake at that hour in the morning what was going on and try to get them to witness it. These stars were dancing, and it was the most bizarre thing I'd ever seen in my entire life, and I think I've seen quite a bit. So we watched until we finally decided, well, this was going to go on for a while, so we might as well just get back on the road. We saw it, it was real, we knew it was there. So the next night, just out of curiosity, I kind of had to look up and see, and sure enough, there was one at least that I saw. There were two others, but they hardly did much dancing. You wouldn't even know they were there. And that's the point. That's what got me doing this was the UFO observer in PA, or I forget exactly right now what her handle is. Uh, has been photographing and filming these objects for some time. And one of the things that she specifically mentions is that these things tend to mimic stars, that they'll sit there for a protracted long period of time, making you think that that's all they are, and you look away. Well, if you're persistent, or lucky, as it was in my case, you will see these things move, and it's absolutely stunning. And there's no explanation for it. How they can abruptly begin, move in one direction smoothly, stop dead cold, move off in another direction, stop dead cold, and so on. So finally, on the third night, we arrived at our destination, and almost as a joke by this point, I kind of said, hey, we brought some friends along with us, and they're all kind of looking at us, and I pointed up to the sky and showed them. And their reaction was really not what I expected. I later found out from the grandnephew, 14, that he thought I was a weather balloon. So maybe he thought I was just joking or something. I mean, it's kind of bizarre, but this is the reaction you more than often get. And the reason I started watching UFOs, even though I consider myself to be a hard scientist, is because of personal experiences, not of my own, but of others that I have known personally, and seeing what disclosure has done to their life. Now, people still think you're crazy. And even when they see it with their own eyes, they refuse to accept what it is. So, no apologies for not having videos. You're either going to understand where I'm coming from or you're not. And like I say, I would stand before Congress and swear and even take a lie detector test to verify that what I witnessed was absolutely true. Thank you. I hope you have such an experience. It's amazing.